Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. I am. Let me log in right fast. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you had a great day on yesterday. Hope you're ready to get this day started. I know I am. Okay. There we go. Good morning, and how do you do? Are y'all ready? Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Please and thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a good week. We've had a good week in the morning show. And again, this is your first time joining. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. I appreciate you taking time out to be with me this morning. You did not have to be. So I thank you for taking time to be here this morning. And if your friends and family do not have Facebook, I do have a YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. And if they do not have YouTube, we do have a podcast. So they can listen to a podcast. And if they don't do any technical things, I have an answer for you. I have 4 books, soon to be 5, that they can gladly read. Pick up a book on Amazon or on my website. If they simply type in my name, good morning, Mama. Good morning. If they simply type in my name, my books are in, I found out my books are on Walmart.com as well as Amazon. They're in Barnes & Noble. They are in, they're in German. They're in Italian. So if they read different languages, they are there as well. So they can grab one of my books if they so choose and get their morning show fixed that way. So they have ways to find me. And let me mention this first this morning before we get started. I have the Sister Rise Retreat that is coming up in October. bit.ly/Sister Rise. And you can learn more about it there. If you go to my page, you will see more information in a video that explains what Sister Rise is and the importance of it. And RISE stands for Revitalizing Individual Sacred Energy. And that is what we're doing for our sisters. Okay. Good morning, Kiva. All right. So now that we got that taken care of, let's go right into the quote of the day. The quote of the day. Hold on. I closed it down. I have 2. We have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. And that's by Angela Davis. We have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. And that is by Angela Davis. And I absolutely love that because it all begins with the mind. And without the mind, which leads us right into the thought of the day. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Who sang that song? In Vogue? I think In Vogue sung that song. Yeah. So free your mind and the rest will follow. And my friend, I promise, it all begins with your mindset. So here is the second quote. We are dangerous when we are fully awake. Then and only then do we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. And that is by I said in the book, The Lioness Arising. I got to send you a list of books. I did not forget. If you guys are interested in my reading list, let me know, and I will share it with you as well. I think I shared it last year, but I will do that again. But that is Lioness Rising. We are dangerous when we are fully awake. Then and only then do we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. And that is so true. When we free our mind, when we liberate our mind, then we become more aware. Remember, we got to be aware, powerful, and alert. That was yesterday. And when we do that, then we are a danger to what is going on with us in our immediate environment, because change is coming, and it is coming quickly. And it is coming whether because it's a moving train. So when you liberate the mind, when you free the mind, then you know you are dangerous and fully awake. And then and only then do you pose a threat to the darkness that holds you captive, whatever that darkness may be. Great morning, my friend. How you doing, Miss Margaret? So those are the two quotes for the day. The thought of the day is free your mind, and the rest will follow. See, when our mind is captive, and put it in any context that makes you feel comfortable, okay? When your mind is captive, meaning you can't think clearly, or you don't quite understand, or there's just a bunch of jumble going down there, or crazy, you forget your fierce and fearless nature. Then all who look to you for protection, and y'all have heard me say this, for protection and guidance will be at risk. If your mind is not liberated, you forget your fierce and fearless nature, and everyone who is connected to you is at risk. Everyone who looks for you for guidance and protection. Right now, you are guiding people whether you want to or not. You are, whether you believe that or not. And so here's my question. What is at risk if you don't start your... What is at risk if you don't free your mind? What is at risk? What is at risk if you choose not to make a decision? What is at risk? How many of us, and I had to write this out because I had to type it out because me writing, I couldn't read my own handwriting. How many of us have lost out on miraculous provisions because we wanted all the answers now before we even started the journey? A to the man, Margaret. A to the man. That is absolutely true. Most of us feel free. The chains are previously placed. They're still there. You know how it's there? When you try to go change and do something, and it jerks you back and you cannot move. That's how you know. So how many miraculous provisions have we missed out on because we wanted all the answers now before we even started the journey of step one? Remember early in the week we talked about inch by inch, and that when you start to move, you realize then that you always could have moved. You had growth to move, and it is inch by inch, and we're celebrating all movement, period, because we're celebrating day one and not 1 days. So how many of us have missed out on a miraculous provision because we wanted all the answers before we even began the journey? Yeah, JoJo, I believe that self-care is gangster. Yep. I know I got some things I need to work on. Yeah, but tell me exactly what's going to be my outcome if I start this journey. And because you cannot answer that, many of you may never start on the journey. Remember that quote, never close your mind to an idea simply because it's miraculous? Some of you have closed your mind. You have forgotten that your mind works. You have to, as Angela Davis said, we have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating societies. And we want to change the world when our mind is not free. And there is where the self-care is gangster comes in. That's where you go and you clip those chains. You unbound those roots. You do the work that is necessary that's going to give you the space or the capacity to grow or the freedom to grow. See, right now you don't really have the freedom to grow because there's so many things that you assume you got to attend to. Remember, yesterday we talked about sometimes we make decisions because, or we don't make decisions, or we don't make moves because we don't want to hit a mouth. I don't want to do this because I really don't want to hit a mouth. I really don't want to hear this, and I really don't. So I'm just not going to make a decision. If you forget your fierce and fearless nature, then all who look to you for protection and guidance will be at risk. Period. You've got to free your mind first. That is the most liberating thing, okay? And then you're now alert, aware, and powerful to what you can accomplish. So what is that risk if you don't begin your journey? What is that risk if you don't decide to free your mind? I think that's a good question to go into the weekend with, to ask ourselves, to think about what is really at risk if we don't take time to look inside of here to see what's in, to see what's in here and hindering us. Some of us think, JoJo, I think just fine. There's nothing wrong with my mind. You don't understand. It's these people out here that it's my mama that got the problem. That may be true. It's that job that's aggravating me. That may be true. It's that man. It's society. That is all the way true. But the question still remains, when are you going to take time to check out on the inside? When are you going to make room to do that? Because we have no problem checking everyone else. I can check you, boo. I can check you, him, her, and them. But we don't check ourselves. So what is at risk if you don't begin your journey? Take a look at your life, and everything that you see is at risk. Everything that you see is at risk. More importantly, your health is at risk. I am such a firm believer that your health and your mind, that the health of your mind and the health of your body go hand in hand. I like that. The health of your mind and the health of your body are the same. That's true. Because your body holds your words for you. Your body holds space for you. Your body makes sure that whatever you say begins to move and work. So your body is holding space for you. So what is at risk if we don't begin that journey? Because when we become fully awake, right? When you become fully aware of your mental capacity of what's holding you back or the things that you have continuously repeated. And here's the thing, some of us get mad when we do the same thing with different people and get the same results, but we mad and we want everybody to forget. It doesn't work that way. You've got to liberate your mind from yourself first, right? You got to do the work to work on yourself first. Good morning, Tiffany. You got to do that. And we are dangerous when we're fully awake. Then and only then do we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. And the darkness, my friend, could be your own mind. You have set yourself up for failure. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. If in every friendship and relationship I do the same thing over and over again, I'm the only thing that has stayed the same. I'm the constant. I could have had another boyfriend, another man, but if I had the same behavior, I'm the thing that's constant. I could have had another job. I could have had lived in a different place, but if the same problems keep happening, I'm the constant. So that means I need to change. And I cannot do that if I don't assume, number one, that the problem may be me. And if I don't want to take time to get into here to figure that part out. So you got to be alert, powerful, and aware. Remember, talking about being a lioness. And then you are dangerous when you are fully awake. Then and only then do you pose a threat to the darkness that holds you captive. And your darkness could be your own mind, your own situation. So what is at risk if you don't begin the journey? What history will you make? So you're making history right now. You're making history by thought, word, and deed. Everything that you say and do is making history in the lives of people you touch every day. So what history are you making with your kids? What history or foundation are you leaving for your family? What's at risk if you don't begin your journey? You are at risk. Your immediate life is at risk, and I mean that metaphorically and physically. Because ask yourself this question: can you continue like this? Can you sustain what you're doing right now? Thank you, Tiffany. Don't look like two women kissing me. What can you sustain? Can you continue to sustain what you're doing right now? Is it healthy for you to continue what you're doing right now? Is it healthy for you to always be stressed out? Is it healthy for you to always have an attitude, be angry, upset? Is that healthy for you? Is it disrupting your sleep? Is it disrupting your thought process? Can you think clearly? Can you make a clear decision? Are you ignoring yourself? What's at risk if you don't begin this journey? Your family, generations to come, yourself, and more importantly, society is at risk. Because you're making history right now. And society is at risk when you don't realize that you are powerful. When you don't take the time to understand the direction that you're supposed to go in. When you assume that you are awake when you're not. See, when you become fully awake in whatever version that means to you, where you become awake to your health and decide to do something about it, you become awake to your living situation and you do something about it, you become awake to your relationships and you do something about it, you become awake to society and you do something about it, whatever it is, you are dangerous when you become fully awake. And I think that's what's happening now. People are becoming fully awake, and then and only then do you pose a threat to the darkness that holds you captive. That means the more you are aware, the more you see, the more you can impact society right now. So what's at stake if you don't begin this journey? Society is at stake. You are making history, whether you are making a move or not making a move. You are making history. You are letting your voice be known. So what is at risk if you don't begin this journey? Thought of the day, we are to free our mind and the rest will follow. I promise. Anybody that's begun any journey, you'll realize that once you start one part of it, the rest of the body starts to follow. Whether you start, I'm going to be healthy and release this weight or live differently. Once you start on that journey, then your mind begins to open up and change. Then your thought process change. And what if you start changing your mind and then you realize the importance of having your body lined up with that, and then your body starts to change. So you can't start this journey and assume you're only going to work on one thing. It may start that way, but it will not end that way. There will be change that you couldn't even begin to imagine or think that was going to happen. And that's why I love Angela Davis' quote. Let me get it. We have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. That's by Angela Davis. We have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. I think that is the reason why change may be hard for some of us, because this is not free. And we can't comprehend with this mind the change that needs to come. We can't comprehend with this mind the things that we need to do, because we've not opened ourselves up to the miraculous. How many of us have missed miraculous provisions, ideas, because we wanted all the answers from before we even began the journey? And what you'll find on this journey is sometimes the answers come to you as you begin to walk it out. And it requires that you take a step first. It requires that you work. So what's at risk, y'all? What, like, if we could really get down and deep, what's at risk? Your life is at risk. Your children, your great, great, great grandchildren. All of that is at risk. And it is going to take us taking responsibility for our actions and our thought processes so that we can free our mind, so that we can liberate society, so that we can be the change. When we liberate our mind, then and only then do we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. And that darkness that holds you captive could be anything that is hindering you from where you need to go. And you may think, JoJo, ain't nothing stopping me. Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm simply asking. I'm just asking a question. Because if you forget your fierce and fearless nature, then all who look to you for protection are at risk. Everyone who looks to you for guidance is at risk. So what's at risk if you don't begin your journey? And please insert whatever word. If you don't begin your growth journey, your mind, whatever word, change, whatever word you want to stick there. What's at risk if you don't start? Even if you're in a space and you say, JoJo, you don't understand. I can't do, there's so many things I want to do, but I can't do any of them right now. Well, let's go back to that perfection stage. Because it is in working in your passion and your purpose that you find perfection. And if you insist on the perfection, you will never walk in your purpose, and you will never seek the thing that you're searching for. It will never find you, and you will never find it, because you're stuck in the perfection phase. So what is at stake if we do not begin our journey? What's at stake? Who are we really hurting? Here it is. Live in purpose, not perfection. Perfection lives in what we are called to do, and that is named purpose. Everything that you want to do requires an action from you. Now, if you don't want to take that action, that is fully up to you. But if you free your mind, the rest will follow. We are dangerous when we are fully awake. Then and only then do we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. And if you forget your fierce and fearless nature, then all who look to you for protection and guidance will be at risk. So what's at risk on this journey? Life as you know it, period. Your health is at risk. Your mental health is at risk. All of it, sister. All of it. So on this wonderful day, as Angela Davis says, we got to liberate the mind before we can liberate society. What is the thing that's holding you back? And remember, this is your superpower. So what is the thoughts that you're giving yourself that is holding you from doing the thing? Let's leave off I don't have time. Let's break it down. Let's take away time. Let's take away excuses, because they're always going to be there and they're always going to be valid. What is it that is hindering you today? There's a chipmunk looking in my window at me. What is it that's hindering you today that's not allowing you to make a move? Is it you? Is it mama and them? Because mama and them could cause us not to make a move, because again, we want to honor her in all things. And because we want to do that, we don't make a move, or we don't do a thing because we don't want to hit a mouth. So we don't ever, you could change history right now, but because you don't want to go through all the things of having to explain it to mama and sister and brother, the why you want to walk this way, you never begin your journey. So what's at risk when you don't begin? The history you will make. That's at risk. You're at risk. Your family is at risk. Society. In the bigger grand scheme. And you may say, JoJo, I'm JoJo from North Carolina. Who am I to be making that statement and to say I can change society? Well, my question is, you're changing lives right now. So And the life that you interact with right now, you're feeding it to go interact with another life and another one. And y'all, with the weight of your words, you are speaking life to every person you come in contact, and that is society. Your thought process is impacting your children, your brothers, your sisters, your mama, your auntie. That's society. You're looking at society as a whole, but if you look at it on a granular scale, you are society. Your family is it. That's how I can be my sister's keeper, because one person at a time. Don't let you waiting for it to be the perfect time be the reason why you never start, because the perfect time is never going to come. Free your mind and the rest will follow. You got to begin this journey inch by inch, movement by movement, day by day, whatever it is. If it's to think differently, if it's to dream differently, if it's to go back to school, shoot, if it's to start eating right, it can be whatever is important to you. That's your journey. And you have arrived at the exact perfect moment. You couldn't have came yesterday. You had to come today. So whatever you name your journey, it's yours. And no one can take it away from you. It is yours and yours alone to walk. And my sister and my brother, you start by freeing your mind first. And I promise the rest will follow. And if is Tiffany still on here? I'm sure she can attest to that. When you begin the journey to whatever it is, if it's, because she's vegan, if it's to be vegan, to whatever your journey is, you'll be surprised that when you free your mind, how much easier it is for you to see the way to go. And the rest of you has no other option but to follow suit. So what's at risk if you don't begin your journey? You are at risk. Your immediate environment is at risk. Family and society as you know it is at risk, period. If you forget your fierce and fearless nature, then all who look to you for protection and guidance will be at risk. It is only when we are fully awake that we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. The darkness could be your job. It could be relationships. It could be your family. And that's okay. It's okay. I'm not saying, if you understand, I'm not saying you leave your family and you get on your high horse and say, y'all are darkness and I'm light and I can't. No, that's not how it works either, sister. It simply means with respect and honor, you grow and move anyway. Because your family has loved you to their faith level. They have taken you as far as they can take you, and they cannot take you anymore. And that's okay. That's okay. Because we're going to do this growth with humbleness. So that when we grow, when our mamas come and ask us, now, JoJo, tell me how you did that again. Humbly, you can answer her. When your sister say, now, JoJo, tell me about that thing again. You can humbly answer her. Because that is when you recognize your power. That is when you understand the strength of your power. Is that when you can answer humbly and without attitude and I told you so's. And if you started when I told you to, because none of that then is required. It was never required. It was required then because your ego was involved. And on this growth journey, however you choose to seek it, you will learn to begin to check your ego along the way. I promise. It's going to get easy. I promise that in the beginning it will be difficult because you're exercising and thinking a way that you've never thought before. And that's okay to think differently than your family. You are absolutely qualified to be exceptional. You're just nervous because of your current community. You're nervous to be great. Absolutely nervous. I can understand that. And it's okay to be great anyway. If you forget your fierce and fearless nature, y'all, sister and brother, then all who look to you for protection and guidance will be at risk. Your children, your mama, your sister, everyone is at risk when you don't understand your superpower, when you don't harness it, when you don't remember it, when you don't stand in it, when you don't own it, they are at risk. They are depending on you for you to understand who you are. Yes, a lot of weight, boo. And in the beginning, you got to figure it out for yourself. But as you figure it out for yourself, then you're able to leave space for other people to follow you. So what's at risk if you don't begin this journey? If you don't free your mind, what's at risk? You are at risk. Your health, your family, and society as a whole. You're at risk because you assume those 200 pounds are going to fall off your body miraculously, and Jesus himself is going to come down and tap you and it's going to be gone, and it's not going to work that way. You assume that you're going to inherently be rich without you doing any work. You assume you're going to just manifest it out of thin air. It doesn't work that way. Yes, miracles happen, and you are it. You are the miracle. You woke up this morning, so you have the work to do. So if you're waiting for the weight to miraculously fall off, you're waiting for you to manifest this, you want to manifest this to death, all of it requires work, boo. And the work that is required is the mental capacity to think it first. You got to have the mental capacity to be aware, to think the dream, to even want to receive it. So if you free the mind, the rest will follow. You don't know what to pray for, what to ask for, what to manifest. You don't know what to ask the divine for. You don't know any of that because the mind is captive. That's why you can say, girl, you talking crazy. I ain't ever going to be a millionaire, because your mind can't comprehend that you could be a millionaire. You're already one. I promise you. But because this here, which is your super, this is how great it is again. It has just told you, Jojo, no, you crazy. That's why you the only live past crazy specialist. Because you crazy. Because I ain't know, you must not know my mom and them. Ain't none of us got no money. And we ain't never had none, and we never will be. Mindset. We are dangerous when we are fully awake. When you finally begin to use that mind, then you know what you can achieve. And it begins with your mindset. It has been amazing to me. Since January, last year, let's go back a couple of years and let's talk about my finances. So if you've been with the Fearless Morning Show 3 years, y'all know I did my taxes 1 year. And I spent $7,000 between the Dollar Tree and a Dollar Menu. And I always assumed I had no money and I was broke. And when I finally sat down and looked at my finances, and I said, I spent $7,000 between the Dollar Tree and the Dollar Menu because it's just $1. And I just dollared myself to death. And then when I began to understand the importance of my mind, and that if my mind was awake and if it was free, the things I could do, then I started to invest in myself. Since January, I've invested a lot of money in freeing my mind, and the change has been miraculous inside of me. It has removed barriers that I didn't even know I had. Since January, I've written 2 books. One came out last week. One you can pre-order starting today. They're 2 anthologies. I have 3 of my own. I just wrote 2 more. And I have another one coming out before Christmas. You are qualified to be exceptional. Don't be nervous because of your immediate community. It's okay. Start with the mind. Free your mind. Even if it's with thinking about your finances. And here was my thing. I don't even be thinking about my finances because I ain't got no money. You see how you just put 2 double negatives in that sentence? That's the English in me. But it's true. I ain't got no, and ain't no need for me to think about it. You don't know what you got till you look at it. When you become fully awake and aware, powerful, alert, and aware, then you become dangerous. Then you become a threat to the darkness that holds you captive. And maybe it's your finances that's holding you captive, so that you assume you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. When you free that part of your mind, It's an amazing thing. When you free your mind to know that you are exceptional, you're amazing, you're brilliant, and you really begin to believe and understand that, it is amazing the growth that will happen so quickly. That's the hard part. The mental is the hard part. And I'm not saying some days I don't forget. Heck yeah, I forget. That's why I have quotes everywhere. Have that Be Fearless reminder I look at every day. The Tree of Life, because I'm a part of it. I have quotes everywhere. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. You are a leader. It's a picture of a lion over there. So on those days when I'm having one of those days and I can't quite remember, I have reminders. I have purpose partners that I can call and I can say I'm having this kind of day. And there's rules to being my purpose partner. And everything that I'm asking for, I'm willing to give. I want to live in my purpose and not in my perfection of the thing. I don't want my perfection to stop me. I want to liberate the mind so then I can liberate society. And my sisters and my brothers, before we can change society, we got to change our mindset. We've got to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. That's by Angela Davis. What is at risk if you do not begin your journey? What history will you make? If you do not begin your journey, which is inch 1, step 1, day 1, JoJo crazy, but let me think about it. That's all I'm asking. I dare you just for the day to think about. Just think about it. Just think about it for 1 second. Good morning, Miss Starks. How you doing? Just for 1 second, think about it. How many miraculous provisions have you missed out on because you wanted all the answers now before you even started the journey? So let's liberate the mind. That is the hardest part. Self-care is gangster. And in that gangster work, we start with the mind exercises first. You can still, listen, I have a new Self-Care is Gangster 5-day guided journey coming up again. I have another one coming up. Y'all, this is my birthday month. I'll be 45 on the 29th. I'm so excited. But we're doing another Self-Care is Gangster guided journey. So if you want to sign up, please send me a message. You can go to bit.ly/gangstercare. Let me type it in. And you can go ahead and sign up, and I will have you on the list so that you can, we start the next journey, which will be on the 15th, I think. And if you sign up today, you can go ahead and start the last one that we just did. And this is free. Please make sure you share it with your friends. Don't forget the Sister Rise Retreat is coming up October the 16th through the 18th. That will be in Savannah, Georgia. Sister Rise is revitalizing individual sacred energy. I posted that as well. So if you'd like to have more information about that, y'all free your mind and the rest will follow. I dare you, just for the day, just for a minute, okay? The Self-Care is Gangster Guided Journey is going to start on the 15th, the second round. If you want to go ahead and do the one we did last month, that one is still there. You sign up and you'll get your emails. That is free. And every morning you'll get a prompt every morning with a thought and some words to help. Because self-care is gangster. We here doing work, like we ain't playing. And we'll have the second round beginning on the 15th. So, and then the Sister Rise Retreat is October the 16th through the 18th. It is only open to 12 women because I want this to be a very intimate event where we are having real conversations, where we're no longer believing that we are powerless. We are understanding the power that is already innately in us, that was given to us on purpose. And we're going to figure out how we're going to use that to change this world. Because every day you're making history. Every day. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. So what is at risk if you don't begin your journey? Your family, yourself, society, and generations to come. I do not want you to forget, y'all, your fierce and fearless nature. that all who look to you for protection and guidance will be lost. They will be at risk if you forget that. So you are fierce and you are fearless in nature. Period. We are dangerous when we are fully awake. Then and only then do we pose a threat to the darkness that holds us captive. And our darkness, my friend, could be your family. It could be you. It could be your friends, your relationships, your friendships. When you become fully awake, and if you missed yesterday and the day before, we talked about the lion's roar. You may not want to be the lion, but the lion's roar is falling upon you. It's that whisper that won't leave you alone. Then that whisper becomes a shout. You've got to pay it some attention. And then you've got to live that shout out loud. That is you walking out your purpose. And then that is you had your roar saying something. And your roar could simply be a statement. Sister, here I am. Where are you? You may not have wanted to be the leader, baby, but the lion's roar has fallen upon you. Now, what you going to do about it? And when you become aware, alert, then you become powerful, my friend. And we are dangerous when we are fully awake. Then and only then do we pose a threat to the dangers and the darkness that holds us captive. How many miraculous provisions have we missed out on because we wanted all the answers before we began the journey? So today we're starting day 1. We're not celebrating one day. So day 1, I want you to share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows. If they don't do YouTube, we do have a podcast. This will be a podcast this afternoon on Apple, Android, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you go to the Live Past Crazy show, you will find it. If you put in my name. If they don't do any social media, I have 5 books. That's 2. Fearless Woman Born to Give Thanks, Transition to Freedom. They are on Amazon. You can find them there as well. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm excited for you to join me on this Self-Care is Gangster journey coming up on the 15th. You can absolutely go ahead and start the one that we did last month. And then join me at that Sister Rise retreat, bit.ly/Sister Rise. And only 12 women. It is for 2 nights, 3 days. And y'all, we're not playing. We're ready to do the work. And just remember, you're absolutely qualified to be exceptional. You're just nervous because your current community is watching. That's okay. You'll be okay. Go be exceptional. Go be great. So on this wonderful day, I want you to have an amazing weekend, right? I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. I want you to be peaceful. I want you to be amazing and recognize your superpower today. I want you to be alert, aware, and be powerful, all right? Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys here bright and early on Monday morning. Have a good one.